Hey guys, it's X here with another episode of Silverback Syndicate. I have a special guest all the way from Chicago. I'm honored and privileged to see that he made the time for me. I got my man Mike from Opaque International.
Opaque.
Opaque or APAC?
Opaque.
Opaque. See, I'm trash, but it's okay. We don't edit. We're going to keep that. Opaque International. I'm sorry.
You got it. No problem.
So what's going on?
Not much, man. I'm blessed.
Big Mike in the building. Oh, snap. This is reality at reality.
For sure.
So one of the important reasons why I remember I'd said this to you probably back before I even started this podcast that I wanted to have you on because I think your journey is something that needs to be highlighted. Tell them how old you are.
36.
You're 36. Now, I thought you were my age because the way you have been running around in the industry and the things you've been accomplishing, I was like, oh, you got to be older. When you told me how old you were, I was like, yo, I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball. I think we had this conversation like right after COVID or something like that. But you come from Chicago. I want you to just tell everybody a little bit about your early beginnings so they can get an understanding because they see the suit. You know what I mean? You're looking all fresh and clean, but I need them to understand that it didn't start off that way.
For sure. So, typical story, high school athlete, played football, went away to college, dropped out of college, and kind of two funny pivotal points in my life. When I dropped out of college, I actually went to audio engineer school to work in music studios. So I actually went to trade school to learn audio engineering, music business. So that's one point. Then after that, my family started a daycare. So when I was 19 to 21, I actually ran our family business. So I learned business and entrepreneurship and management and leadership at a young age. So at 21, our family friend owned a pretty big, he sold the company 2 times. So he just keep, like basically just repeating the process. He owned a big security firm, armed security firm in Chicago. So I started working for him at 21. And then from there, that man, Mr. Hunt, taught me the business of security.
Yeah.
And then from there, I started doing armed security throughout Chicago. Typical story, fights and, really, testing your mettle and just understanding that it's something bigger to this. So, of course, when you're above average security guard, police like, hey, man, come take the police test.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like, yeah, I hear you. So I took the Cook County Sheriff's test. I passed, and I was like, I'm not quite sure if that's what I want to really do is be a cop. So from that point on, I started looking into like, what's the biggest thing in executive protection? And they said, I'm sorry, the biggest thing in security was executive protection.
Yeah.
So then I started going online doing my research. I saw this guy named Elijah Shaw from Chicago, same story. And then from there, 6 months of me getting into armed security, I went to Icon.
Okay.
And from Icon, kind of started my training path, my journey, and then from there, just started going up and flourishing from there, taking every opportunity I can get, and I turned nothing down but my collar, and then just keep building and expanding upon that, real world experience.
That's crazy. You got a chance to do the Icon like fresh out the gate. It took me years to go to that training. Not that I wasn't ready. It's just, timing, finances, all that other stuff. But that's a good kickstart because then you get to maximize your learning time frame versus taking what would have taken a normal person 2-3 years of experience just to start.
Totally. Not
just like knowledge wise in that class, but just to learn how to start doing this.
Totally agree.
You got a good jump start. Plus, you did something in reverse. You learned business first, which explains a lot knowing you. I say this all the time. There's security and then the art of doing business in security. And that seems to be a major component of where we have a gap between tier 1 and tier 2. You get what I'm saying? Like there's so many skilled guys that you would love to have as an operator and use in certain situations. But then you have to think about, well, do they understand the business of security?
Agree.
And then it stops you from sending them to certain locations because you're like, damn, I got to deal with this part of it because he don't understand this, and he ain't gonna do this because he's, it sucks so bad. That's the thing that I want one day to see in a course.
For sure. No, for sure.
Is a segment of saying, hey, This is how we operate. And I get why, because everybody's scared to say numbers out loud.
Yes.
Totally understand that. But at the same time, if we don't say the numbers out loud, we can't shun people when they're not staying at the market value. You know what I'm saying?
No. I totally agree. I have this conflicting view about the market value. So you made definitely great points. I think true executive protection cannot go without business. They like one and one. They're one and the same. And I think a lot of people fall short. They're great skill set oriented, quote unquote, operators, but they don't understand the business. The operation gets you hired, but the business gets you paid.
Exactly.
Two separate skill sets, two separate way of thinking, two separate ways of just handling legit business. And I think the problem, the skill set gap, is the education on business. So I think to close that gap, there really cannot be a market value, right? Yeah, we can say the minimum price is like $400 a day to pay a guy or $600 a day, but truly honest, most guys are not equal.
And but see, this is the part about business, right?
Yeah.
You gotta we have this weird way of constructing how security business is thought about, right?
Yes.
But if you go to a slaughterhouse, the big cow costs this much.
Yeah.
The medium cow costs that much.
That's a good point.
But you know the parameters of what makes a big cow.
I agree.
In security, we don't have a tangible product. I totally understand that. A lot of how we price ourselves is off of emotions.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Egos and emotions. But when I say market value, I'm no longer just saying the entire market. Now I'm going to be specific, because not every market you send an invoice. Not every market looks at your resume.
That's true.
Not every market collects resumes and information to say, hey, we're going to figure out who we want. So once I start really getting into saying, okay, price yourself based off market value. Okay, we know street number wise, don't go below 400.
Yep.
In any demographic, you should never walk out the
agree.
door below 400.
I agree.
Okay? Boom. And then if you want to get into the math, then you divide by 12. Whatever you say your base rate is, you divide it by 12. If it exceeds the hourly market value of an armed security guard, and you don't match up to what you're asking, then you should know that's what you take it from, right? That's on the street side. But then we get into places where you operate, right? Like, it's not just what you do, but right now you have a nice chokehold on the corporate sector.
Yeah.
All right. So you know when you say, hey, this is my number, they understand why it's broken down like that.
Totally agree.
Because of the market.
Totally agree.
So you're a big cow. So now they know they got to pay the big cow because XYZ is on paper. This is the resume. This is his track history. Boom. But then we got guys who operate where they're not being asked those questions and they're just saying numbers.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? They're just saying numbers. And when they say a number, I'm not mad at somebody saying, hey, pay me $800 a day. Okay. If you're going to say $800 a day, then you need to know what comes with the $800 a day.
Yes.
Right?
Totally
What
agree.
you should be providing for the $800 a day.
Yes.
But then you also need to know that if you say $800 a day and you've been with that person for a year and you thinking, oh, well, maybe I should get a raise. It's been a year. This is where the market comes in and taps you on the head.
Yes.
You pushed yourself outside your market value.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
They're now looking at you as a business. You've been there for a year.
Yes. What have you done?
What have you done?
What's the return on my investment?
What's the ROI?
Yep. It's funny you bring that up. So I was with a client for full time, working there day to day. Started off with just me, then it built up to like 32 employees across the whole span. But every year I came to get a raise, but I had the mindset even back then at a young age, because I started that client at 25. at a young age, I'm going to have to show from this year to this year, what did I do to help mitigate? What did I help to improve? And also, where did I add value? Because sometimes if you're not tracking those metrics, you have nothing to go off of.
You have nothing to talk about.
Exactly,
in negotiations.
Right? Exactly. So if I'm asking for more money, what did I do to be different than I was last year? That's what a lot of guys, especially in the entertainment business, don't understand. Okay, great, man. You've been with me for a year, but did you get any more, certification? Did you gain any more knowledge? Did you get any more?
Did your wardrobe get better? Did
Exactly.
your look get better?
Exactly. Did your understanding of risk? Can you help me? Get a tax break because I do a legit security assessment. So now I can write off the security. What qualifies for me to be able to write you off? Not just saying you're an EP guy.
And and the secondary part that I try to explain to guys is you've priced yourself out where you can't get a raise.
Yes.
Because you've maxed out your market value. Because regardless of all those things you may have added to your cycle, it still leaves you at 8.
Yes.
Because you're asking for 8 per day. You're not saying, hey, this is my bottom line per week. You're not saying this is my hourly rate. You said, look, 8 per day.
Period.
Yeah. Okay. You didn't specify a 12-hour window.
Yep.
You said per day. So if I have you sitting in that studio for 23
there
hours,
it is.
You told me per day.
There it is.
And that's when the business side, I'm like, see, y'all don't think outside the box. You just want to be able to say you get 8 per day.
Yes.
Now, had you said to that client, hey, give me $650 per day plus 75 for incidental and per diem per day, that puts you up to $725 per day. Yes. In their mind, they're only paying you $650 per day, but you got the other 75 per diem.
Just worded different.
And now when you come back a year later and say, hey, look, I would like to have a raise. Instead of saying, give me $650, I want $700 now. Say $650 and just bump up the per diem to $100. So now it's $750 a day. But you don't think like that. You were just so stuck on the $800 per day.
Totally agree.
Because accounting,
that part,
is a team of people, and they have other clients.
Yes.
And they're going to see a number and say, man, you're paying $800 a day for security. Tom, Dick, and Harry, man, they got this guy. He's charging this, and he comes with this team. Maybe you should come.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, but my client loves me.
Yes.
Yeah, but they love their budget more.
Exactly. They love their accountant more.
They love their accounting more. Because, yeah, you're asking for your per day rate, but you forget your flight costs money. Your hotel costs money. Every time you put your bag on that scale, they're paying for that too. There's a lot of different things that they're paying for your services, and you're not taking that into account.
Yes.
And this is the part of business. And you being a business owner, you starting off early on with the daycare, you understand the X's and O's. Okay, profit margin versus gross and net, there's a difference.
Exactly.
A lot of guys don't do that. They don't even pay their taxes.
So many guys I know have tax problems right now. But the funny thing you brought up is the $800 a day, right? That sounds good in conversational talk, right? But now you take 35% away. That's the taxes alone. So are you really making $800? And then you start taking on, like, are you paying yourself, or is it an LLC? Is the LLC insured? You know, can you write off the stuff that you think you'll be able to write off? It's the business of it on the back end that you don't understand. It's more than a rate.
And then the LLC versus S corp. Guys don't understand that either. No. You can have an LLC, but if you want to operate with these tours, you want to operate with these Fortune 500 companies, and you don't want them to take out taxes, you don't want to be a W-2 under their umbrella, well, guess what, brother? You're going to have certain things that are required
to do business to business.
Through the business. You're going to have
workers' comp insurance.
Workers' comp, which is extremely hard to get. You're going to have a certain amount of insurance for your personal. It all plays a factor. And that is the part that I wish was brought up in some courses. And like I said, I understand why they don't do it, because it's such a rabbit hole you can go down.
Totally.
As you know, Mark James 6, he actually does a segment with the Icon course that kind of helps you with business. He'll give you some sauce, but he ain't gonna give you all the sauce.
No.
But that is probably as deep as I've ever seen somebody go into the business of EP or security.
Totally.
Another factor guys don't think about is, I remember when you went and started branching your PI side of the business.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, I got a PI company. You're like, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, bro. Like this.
No, exactly.
I don't know about in your state, but I know here, being a private investigator was kind of like one of the easiest ways to get EP clientele.
Yes.
Because a lot of private investigators are former law enforcement officers, and they get requests to do EP all the time, but they can't be everywhere at once.
Exactly.
Nor do they want to take the jobs. Most cops or former law enforcement cops don't want anything to do with celebrity protection.
Oh, 100%.
It's a headache.
They pass it off.
Yeah. So tell the people how's that looking for you with the PI side of
For
things.
sure. So something I talk about in my EP Symposium course, well, a lot of guys don't understand. They really pay attention to the industry across abroad. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, not all the time, executive protection falls under private investigation. And then also, like me and you talked about it, before in private conversations, that it opens opportunity to double that money. Because now the client they get a stalker, you ain't got to hire anybody to go run it. you can actually run it yourself. Now you're adding value. Now you're offering protective intelligence, right? The client has a restaurant or a business. They don't have to hire anybody to do the background checks. You can do all the verifications. And that can go to the estate security program. Now people get on the property. You can run a background check right then and there. That adds value to you. And it also, you charge them for that per background check and everything like that. And also it gives you a different skill set of investigation.
Yeah.
Right? So your client has a situation. You think that, the maid or like the nanny is stealing something. Now you know how to do a proper internal investigation to have proof, because we can't just fire this person because it's still a business, right? We have to have the proof to make sure that we don't get sued on the back end. So I think if a lot of guys pay attention to that, that's another way to really get into executive protection and to also monetize actually yourself from different avenues. So if executive protection dried up, you can have a PI case that can pay even more with less work.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really helped me, tremendously. Like last year alone, just off of PI stuff, we almost did like $500,000 in just PI business. And
it's a big market for it.
For sure.
I've taken advantage of it. I don't do it in my personal life. That's my rule.
I agree.
If I have to investigate you in my personal, I don't want you nowhere near me. But I had to learn how to use it because I was walking around with an athlete full time, right? And when you deal with athletes, their fans are a little different, right? They're not aggressive. They're like just starstruck for a period of time. It's more respectful. But then you have that segment of protecting the client from other type of dangers, like women.
Yep.
Right?
Blackmail.
And, NBA players, they meet women a lot faster than most athletes because they don't have a mask on. They're very tall. It's very easy to recognize it. Oh, that's a ball player.
Yep.
Right? And I'm not going to say that they're more gullible, but they usually come from a more boxed-in lifestyle. There's always been a bubble around them to bring them up throughout the channels until they get to the pros. Then they get to the pros and they're exposed to the money and the ladies, and their eyes get big, and they want to feel the love. But they don't know who really loves them.
Yes.
And you being the EP, you kind of have to navigate who's who. And what I would do is I would just run a quick background on the ladies.
Yep.
But I would never tell my client.
Right. Love that.
And the reason why I was able to execute that is because I would always check their ID. I didn't care how old a woman looked. Let me see your ID. If you were to enter the property at any point in time, I'm going to greet you at the door, check your ID, and let you inside. When I check your ID, I'm going to mental snapshot and go right to my phone. I'm going to run your socials. I'm going to run everything.
Yep.
And I'm going to see who's connected to who, and I'm going to figure you out. So by the time you walk out the door, I know your story if I already don't know something about you, right? So, going along, and my client's like, oh, I was like, no, we can't do that.
Yep.
He's like, why not? I said, oh, because woo, woo, woo. He goes, damn, I said, you think I'm just going to let somebody in this house? He's like, I didn't know you was in. I said, it's not your job to know what I'm doing. Just know I'm doing it.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was with that dude for 2 years. He never had an issue with the female until after I left.
Of course. And I think the PI side also, like you said, you just give the client a double layer, right? Because you're giving them intelligence. Intelligence is information.
Exactly.
Information is just something that's there until it's verified to become intelligent. So hey, this woman has a couple fraud cases. We need maybe be mindful of this. This is what she do. But you would never know that if you didn't have that capacity to run the background. And then I just think it just adds tremendous value to you. And I also tell guys from a business tip, your insurance is gonna be cheaper if you're a PI company than a security company. Man, look, night and day.
It's a drastic number change. You got to have the paperwork.
Yes.
It's rare that somebody's going to ask you for the paperwork until you get to a certain level. Then it's going to become common.
Mandated.
And what you don't want to do is you don't want to have that opportunity. And then either you don't have a homeboy who you're close enough to run it through his business.
Yep.
But if you get caught out in that air, you're stuck.
Yep.
You can get stuck. I almost lost a gig because I was renewing my insurance. And sometimes it's like a 2-week window.
Yep.
Where you don't have it.
Yep.
And that can cause you trouble. I've been sued. And the incident happened within the 2-week window.
Of course.
I was like, what? I was like, wait, what?
Yep. No, for sure.
It's the little tricky stuff like that. But you got to educate yourself. There's contacts people can make. You can reach out to either of us.
Sure.
You know, I know Mike is always on the hunt for new talent.
Always.
Especially in the Midwest area.
For sure.
Because you right now, what I like that you have going on, you did mention this earlier, you have a course.
Yep. For sure.
You know, we've talked about that before too,
sure.
you know, but you got to it faster than I did. But I was happy, you know, I went right to the repost. And I saw, I was like, oh, repost, everybody go.
Exactly.
It was unfortunate I wasn't able to attend myself, but I saw the guys go. I was a little disappointed I missed it. But when are you going to have another one?
I'm looking at the either end of May or early June. Okay. Because, you know, I think that course is really a gap filler for a lot of people because all you're paying is $300, but now you're getting what is executive protection, what am I getting into, and how do I map out my training path or my career? That's something that's lost in the sauce. Because if you look at a training course, you may go to any course and pay $2,500 base. Now you realize, okay, cool, I did the course, I'm James Bond, now I'm ready to work.
Now what?
Now what, right? Then you didn't think about what platform am I going to pick? Celebrity, corporate. So now you have to think about, is that training course accredited or acknowledged in that platform that I'm actually looking to go to? That's often the disconnect there. They'll do, you know, John Blow course, pay, you know, locally, and then that has no accreditation if they're trying to work at a corporation. Like, who is this?
I think when we tell guys to go get training, I think sometimes it's our fault that we're not specific.
I agree.
Right? So I've been rolling it up because, like I told you, I spoke to you about doing a course.
Yep.
And now I'm starting to really put the groundwork in. I got some partners that I'm looking forward to. I got a situation in Dallas. I'm going to have a location here. You know what I'm saying? But then I also realize what I do is not truly what a lot of guys want to do.
Yes.
Right? I'm on the celebrity side. I specialize in touring and advanced work and stuff like that. You advance in a different format because you're doing it more on the corporate scale, and what you're looking for is totally different than what I look for, right?
For sure.
Not saying we shouldn't cross train, but if you're going to have a small window of finances and time,
totally agree.
Then we need to start specifying, hey, what are you looking to achieve before you go to this course?
Yes.
There's some guys who want to kick doors and be an operator. Cool. You are going to do government contracts.
Yes, period.
Yes, that's what you want. If you want to kick doors, you want to walk around with your AR and all that outside tactical gear, that's cool.
Yep.
That's not what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
That's not what I'm into. I don't like guns enough to care about that stuff. Excuse me. So we need to say, hey, guys, if you're looking to be an operator, this is where you go, right? So we know, okay, guys, you want to work on your marksmanship, you want to shoot, you want to feel that live action, offshore kinetics, bam, there you go.
Oh, I agree.
If you want to jump off boats and look cool, offshore kinetics has a maritime course.
Yeah, that's it.
Not saying that they don't teach you the right things, but that look, that feeling
for that world is that
is over there. That's where you need to go.
Yep.
If you want to learn how to operate on the touring side and deal with celebrities and know how to move when the lights are on you and it's bright, there you go. You got icon training.
Yep.
Now, if you want to blend that in with operational side as well, then you can do the icon with the ASI.
Yep.
Go over there because they're going to teach you everything. You can scope somebody 100 yards out and mess with them.
Yep.
Cool. If you want to roll in the sand and be on some Marine, brother, cool. Then Bravo Research Group out west, go ahead, holler at him.
Yep.
That's what he does.
Yep.
Just know it's for the churches, brother. You're not going to be operating.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Pump fake.
Exactly.
Yeah, I shoot shots. I don't care. We need to specify where guys need to go.
For sure.
And when I saw your course, I was like, you know what? The flyer left me no questions. I was like, oh, I know exactly what he's doing.
Yes.
And I'm glad you advertised it like that. I didn't even have to ask you, what does it come with? You already said it because I know how your brain works when it comes to business. So when I saw your training course, I said, if this is a new person who has questions, they need to go see Mike.
For sure. And I mean, you totally hit it on the head because I think the problem with the industry now is everybody trying to be tier one. Everybody want to be, former Delta, ISA and just everything like that. And it's like, that's not the job.
I remember there was a point in time in my career where I liked being the door guy. I was at the Ratchet Trenches clubs. I was working the door, and I was happy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we have this there's this new wave of guys who are acting like being the guy at the club is a bad thing.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree.
Or oh, you're beneath me because you're working at the club, or because your shirt says security. And you know, like we all have a starting point. Like if I look at the gear that I wore on my first detail, I remember the client saying, like one of his homeboys saying something like, "Yo, you look crazy." Yeah. Like, yo, you got the boots with the shorts, like what? Because I wasn't prepared.
Yes.
My to-go bag wasn't there yet.
You didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better. But if I had ran into a veteran guy and he just looked at me that one moment and judged me,
Yep.
and would have blackballed me or talked crazy about me
Yep.
to the point that other people don't want to hire me, I'd have been like, yo, that was not fair. So now that the shoe is different, I'm trying to be more mindful of my criticism, because I'm going to critique for sure. But I'm going to be mindful about it and be like, oh, he just don't know yet. Let me go holler at him. Let me go let him know. Let me say, hey, bro, look, check this out. Or don't be discouraged. If this is what you want to do, you can do that, but have integrity with it. Make sure you look clean, even though you in the hood trap spot.
Totally
you know
agree.
What I'm saying?
Totally
like,
agree.
And if that's the road you want to take, if you want to have your city on lockdown, you want to have the contract to all the street clubs, there's nothing wrong with that.
I totally agree.
There's money in that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm coming here. Where can I go to be safe? And you can get us in and out.
If I can make $1,000 extra on top of whatever they paying me to be at this spot every weekend,
You're doing all right.
and I don't have to go nowhere. I can go home to my girl. I can make love to my woman. I can smell of bacon in the morning and beat my kids' ass in the morning because they waking me up too early. If I could do all that versus being on the road, there's nothing wrong with the two.
Totally agree. 2 points I want to make. One is I think you hit something on the head. The veterans have to give guys more grace. We were that guy at one point, and that's something I had to learn myself, especially when I started my own company. I'm like, this guy he's dropping the ball, but it's like, did I equip him enough to be able to succeed? So I started, hey man, let me take you shopping. Let me show you what a sport coat is. And you just throw this on some jeans. Now it elevated your look. You don't have to maybe go to, J. Crew's. Let's go to thrift store at a high-end area. You can get just same quality because they giving it out.
Ross.
Right, Ross. You know what I'm saying? You could start piecing things together because it's not going to happen overnight.
Exactly.
I tell guys like this, even when they look at my resume, that's over 16 years of dedicated time and just education. It's not going to happen overnight. So I think we have to, as veterans, make sure we instill opportunities and not drop the ball. Quick story I'm gonna give. Elijah. One time I worked a detail, went out to Minnesota, drove out there, long day. He gave me grace. I probably could say the client now because it's been years from now. I overslept, and he picked the client up, SWV, and took him to the show. He could been calling me all night. Hey, Mike, where you at? Where you at? I woke up. And then when he was walking on stage, now I show up like I've been there all day. But he gave me grace. He could have blackballed me in that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But he understood. Michael's still learning in the process, right?
But that's a big drop.
No, big drop. But that taught me a huge lesson. Like if somebody else gave me grace, I gotta get somebody the same grace because they may not know to set that alarm clock like 4 or 5 times, or you gotta force yourself to get up. That happens. We burn in both ends trying to make it happen.
I will say I've given grace too, but that's still a wild.
No, it's a wild one. But he was somebody gave me grace, and that really boosted my career in the celebrity market was because Elijah gave me opportunity out the side of me dropping that huge ball. You know what I'm saying? Which could have just been done.
They actually going on tour later on this year with Salt and Pepper.
There you go. You go.
They still on the road. Maybe you get the call.
I doubt it.
Maybe you get the call to stay up. Oh man, that's funny. I would have never thought that about.
Yeah. That was early in my career. I didn't. I'm like, oh man, what's going on?
Yeah. So
then the second point. Man, I lost my train of thought. But the second point, I said that about Elijah. The second point you brought up was, it'll come back to me. Go ahead.
Listen, things happen.
Yeah.
This is why we keep it scaled down, because we can go 8,000 different directions with everything. As you can see, we have these books. We always have books set up because I always tell people I'm a seeker of knowledge. And like I said, we've had this discussion before. Yep. What book you reading right now? Because you read way more than I do.
For sure. I'm reading Signal of Noise. Basically, this is kind of like an intelligence and information book. Basically saying now we're in the age of all this automation of information. Mm-hmm. And information, what people don't understand, we're scraping the same sources, right? It doesn't mean it's intelligent. So you may have an ONTIC system that's flashing, oh, your client had a threat. This person said something on Twitter, but it's all automated. But are we discerning this, the source? okay, is that a 12-year-old kid? Now we're in a 12-year-old kid. What's his real capability and the credibility of that source? It's just information because it's not credible.
Yeah, I just had a recent incident on my last show. A threat came in via Twitter.
Yep.
I was like,
yep.
and then when I'm reading the report, I'm like, okay, so a word was flagged, and now I got to go through all this.
Exactly. So that's the problem. So it's just, and then also with more information doesn't mean we're actually more informed.
Yeah.
Now we're actually, ignoring the guy that's right here in the crowd because I'm learning about everything else that's going on, but I have to still be in the moment as well.
And then,
right, that's the thing, right?
The funny part about intel is, number one, where's the source?
Yes.
Is the source credible? And then, two, is the issue big enough that it's going to reach your lap?
Yes, I agree.
And like that's the part that I hate about events like that. So like I just did a run in Australia, and that Asian guy who's been crashing everybody's stages.
Yep. Uh-huh.
He crashed 4 stages before they finally put a $5,000 bounty on his head.
Yep.
So now the venue's like, okay, we're not gonna let this happen. We got a $5,000 reward. Anybody catches? I'm like, y'all waited 4 different times.
Yep.
And he caught y'all at different scenarios. He caught you at the early meet and greet. He caught you when the lights are off. Like he's been strategizing.
He's good.
Yeah, exactly. And I took it as like, a training method. Like, okay, this is how they're thinking now. Because sometimes, and you know this, we'll do a stage walk. We'll be looking at everything. Some of you cool guys who are holding your bag because it's strapped to your chest, so you're walking like this.
Yeah, nothing in it. Nothing in it. It's crazy.
You're looking around and you're trying to find gaps. But you're going based off of probably what you've seen in training or what you would expect someone to do.
Yes.
Right? And what we're not doing is we're not, like you said, taking the intelligence. Now that everything's viral in our faces, that is a form of intelligence because they're showing you how they plan on doing things.
Yes.
They're showing you, hey, just me going viral is enough for me to do this. This has nothing to do with me being a fan. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to be seen.
Sensational.
Exactly, right? You've had this incident with your team. A guy comes down to second level.
I was about to bring that up.
I was like, how the
slid down the ropes from the speakers.
Yes.
Right? So that's something you cannot fathom.
And
who's going to risk their life for that?
And I hit you about that.
Yeah.
And it was like, what could we do? There's nothing we could say.
For sure.
So I put that in the Rolodex. Okay.
Somebody can come up with
that's training. They're coming from the second level. Few months later, guess what happens to me? Knucklehead jumps from the second level.
Yeah.
Some power quad type. Doo. I did not see him because of the angle that I was facing over here. My other guy didn't see him either because he came from the second level.
Yep.
But once he made contact with the stage, we executed, got him off. I'm like, geez, I can't believe this happened on the second level.
But you're studying stuff beforehand, the case studies. You guys forget that.
So guess what happens to me again? Another dude.
But now you're ready.
Second level.
Now you're ready, though.
But what made me mad was the venue wasn't ready.
Yes.
And in my mind, I'm like, damn, how can we get these guys from the venues to train up the same way we expect the EPs? Because who realistically should be responding to that incident faster?
Oh, the venue. 100%.
Because it's their venue. It's their
100%.
building. They should know it like the back of their hand.
100%.
But it's almost like, okay, now I know. Okay, let me add this into my advance.
For this venue. Because I know this the vulnerability.
Not just that, but I know that the way my stage structure is set up for this European run, this may happen again.
Yep.
This is a possibility. So now I got to put this in the format so that I can make sure that the people that are in those pits or side stage, I've prepped them. Yes. I've advanced them because I now have the intel to say, okay, this is what it is.
This can happen.
This is going to happen at this point. And that's the type of tangible intel we can say, hey, look, this is out there, but we're not even acknowledging. We're too busy laughing and talking crap
about everybody else.
About the other security. Man, that would have never happened on my stage.
Okay.
My stage. No, you're supposed to have been there.
For sure. It's funny. As you know, I've been with that client for 10 years. People always tell me, man, Mike, what's going on? Trust me, the energy level, we're causing earthquakes in foreign countries.
Man.
So the energy level at your show is nowhere near ours. So people think they can compare. You got 30 or 50,000 people right next to the stage. There is no closing gap because the client doesn't like the gap.
Not just that. His fan base, they take it as a part of the show.
Yes, because they established his career off of, can you get on this stage? Period. So we have people literally jump through pyro and fire
Yeah,
but the security stopped.
I saw
because
that
they're
kid.
not going to go through the fire till it go away. To risk their lives. People, like you said, scaling from the second floor, holding on to speaker cords, sliding down like it's a movie.
Man, look.
So these are things you cannot technically mitigate. You can just learn, okay, now we know. Until it happens.
And then the crazy part, you be having multiple stages. Like it's
spread out.
Like when I see the aerial shots of your shows, I be like, damn, I can't wait to advance one of those kind of chaotic moments.
For sure. And the thing is, even on the venue side, we can have 150, 200 people in that pit. Still don't mean nothing. It's too much space to cover.
It's a lot going on.
And then you're asking the security company at that state to come up with that many numbers. It's unrealistic, right?
You be in foreign countries.
Yes. Right.
I'm like, what's the X field look like? How'd y'all even
Exactly, right? So that's another back end, having the right contacts. Because something happens, you got to really know what you're doing at that point.
It's something definitely always going to happen. Now, you actually have experience in something most people will never, ever see. You and your client had a big festival, and an emergency situation happened, right? And unfortunately, because of the communication that was going on, it wasn't not all the information came back to you where you can make proper decisions.
For sure.
What advice would you give someone who's walking around? Because I do these moments where you're walking around, you train, you're advancing. You're preparing for moments that in your heart you're like, this will never happen.
Yeah.
And then you could say in your career, hey, it's happened.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think you got to document the lesson, right?
Yeah.
The loss is definitely a lesson. Unfortunately, I've been a part of one of the to date most historic mass casualty incidents in the entertainment market at a festival, right? 8 people lost their lives. So when you look at that, you have to look at it more from a public safety standpoint, because the problem really, when you look at the whole situation, was this medical provider was in communication with this medical provider. The city was in communication, fire department wasn't in communication with this environment. So the internal communication of mass casualties have to be intertwined from day one. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's outside of your scope, because that's the city's job.
Exactly.
Right? So that's something people like, well, the venue guy, that has nothing to do with nothing with the venue. That's all public safety, which is the city. So I think just making sure on the front end when you're doing your advance, make sure that the city are crossing their I's and dotting their T's, because some of them have not dealt with this big of scale or this fan base like we're used to. They're used to doing, stuff like like a rodeo or family event, but not a full show, a full festival, full, event that's energetic, unique. A lot of people, then also you bring the energy of the client.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I was there.
Yeah. So
I was there, boots on the ground.
Exactly.
And even being there and with the security mindset,
you can't plan for that.
Yeah, I had never seen nothing like it.
Right, and that's the thing. We got our Monday night quarterbacks. Right, they're gonna say, "Oh, if I was there, I would have built the barricade this way. I would have did that."
Listen,
it's open field.
I was there. I was there and I saw it firsthand. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen kids act like that.
Yep.
I've had mad experience with festivals of all types, rock,
Yep.
EDM, hip hop. I've never seen nothing like that.
Yep.
I don't think that was anybody in one particular space's fault.
I agree.
I think it was an accumulation of a lot of unforeseen things.
Yep.
Because we can study human behavior all we want to, but teenagers,
they're gonna do whatever seems.
They have a mob mentality, and
yes.
I literally saw a kid smack a cop's horse on the ass, and I was like, "Yo, these kids is bugging."
Yeah,
because the audaciousness to notice you gonna smack a cop's horse.
Yeah, anything.
That's that's hitting a cop.
Exactly.
Like you gotta be.
You different.
You built different. So it was very unfortunate. I felt bad for you. I remember I reached out to you like, yo, we had our little quick, all right, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And now that it's on Netflix and seeing it again, it brought back a lot of raw emotions for me, because like I said, I was there, and there was something that I had experienced there that will forever keep me on the screen of that event. There's like the same shot they keep using of me at the event, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Did you have to do anything afterwards to kind of like, and I know you have a big faith in God and you're big in the church, and that might have been your spot to go to figure out how to emotionally get through it. Because like you said, 8 people lost their lives. People asking you questions. You're going to ask yourself, what could you have done better?
For sure.
How did you emotionally and mentally cope with that? Like, did you just lock in with your wife, deal with your family?
For sure. Well, a couple of things. I think first having the faith in God, and I also saw therapy, right? Because at the end of the day, you can ask yourself, well, what could I have done better? But also, that's that 2020 vision, right? Mm-hmm. And also, people don't understand when you're at the top. If I'm the director of security, I have to trust the people that I put in place underneath that they did the right thing, because it's not my job. I think it's a fallacy that people think when you're the big guy that you're doing everything. Michael doesn't know venue. Michael hires venue experts. Michael does so that wasn't my lane. So, and then also going back to the business of security, this is why it's important to spread the liability.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I was the end all be all, I'll be done. Mm-hmm. I'll be done. Talking about the lawsuits, the depositions, from the civil to the criminal, I'll be done. But luckily God had his hand on me, and I never got affected by that at all. Yeah. But God sees it all in 2020 vision. So but I really had to lock in and just say, like, man, is this what I really kind of still want to do? And that's kind of at that point when I started making my shift.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? This is,
hot out here.
Right, the liability is too great.
Now that you shifted, you're doing a lot of international work.
Yeah.
You got that bad company you got the sponsorship with.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Hail Closely. Shout out to Alex.
Yeah, I love the products, but I'm just upset because like you'll be like, I put 5 outfits in this bag. I'm like, yeah, but you ain't got no big ass feet like me. That'd be so mad. I'm like,
yeah, I'm gonna have to send you a bag.
I'll be like low key, like, how am I traveling so light? I gotta drag all these damn bags with my shoes and all this other stuff. So I actually watch your international movements as inspiration, because sometimes we get stuck where we don't want to be outside of our comfort zone.
Totally agree.
And like you'll be backpacking in some spots. I'd be like, damn, Mike, you just outside.
Yeah.
I'd have been in the hotel. Like when we were in Brazil, you're like, yo,
yeah.
We're gonna walk over here. Let me take a picture. This brand new burnt car. Let me get a photo. I was like,
exactly.
I was like, Mike, they just bombed this car like an hour ago. Let me get a picture.
Exactly. No, for sure.
It might just be Dora the Explorer out here. But I mean, it was cool. I could dig it. I walked with you because I felt safe.
Hey, there it is. Same.
Explain to people like how the international side works, because you do a lot of hours in the sky, my brother.
For sure. No, for sure.
You put a lot of miles in the sky, and then you hit the ground running, you do your thing, and then you right back at the airport.
For sure. I think the international side of the business is honestly based on advanced and contingency planning. A lot of people just used to go and doing a site survey and think that's an advance. When you're doing international, you literally have to go off of every site, every location. What's the contingency? A lot of guys leave out the contingency planning because if civil unrest happens in this country, where are we going? Is the embassy even a real option? Do we have contacts in a security extraction company like maybe Global Guardian or like Max Security, we're talking about Israel or something, that can really get us out? Do we have a conversation with the client? Do we have kidnap and ransom insurance? Because in some of these places, a piece of the jewelry alone will make somebody take our lives, period. It changes their lives. When we think about in Colombia, when bombing's still going and, in the capital, $1 US is $5 in their money. Put that in perspective. So if people don't think about those things. So I think the international game has to be studied. You have to have real context, have to have real intelligence on the ground, meaning local assets. Do you know John that can go to that site to give me real eyes on, not just me looking at intel reports that's people are like, just gathering information, not facts. Let me put someone on the ground to gather, hey man, is it really that bad? Or is it worse than what they're even reporting?
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
European runs get tricky, especially when you don't look what they expect you to look like.
100%.
We have a big preconceived notion that you got to be white.
Yes.
You got to have the beard, former military.
Yes.
Your watch got to be
turn
inside out, and that's cool. That's brand recognition for certain guys.
Yes.
But what are the benefits if I don't look like him? They're not looking for me.
Exactly.
You know how many investigations I've done where I'm standing right next to the op and he's partying with me, and then the client be like, well, how did you get so close to him? I said, because he's not looking for me.
He look for you.
I
totally agree.
Yeah, I don't look like what they're expecting, so they're not tripping off of me.
To be honest, it's funny. So I do, covert protection and surveillance detection. They're two different things, but, we do them separately. When I'm doing covert protection, they're never looking for the black guy. They would never assume African American is, if I'm the only one in the whole security apparatus, they'd never assume it.
You got to take advantage of stuff like that.
Oh, of course.
I don't want guys to get discouraged when they think that you have to have a certain look. Like, I say this all the time, and people still look at me like I'm crazy. There's a lot of fruit to eat off of these trees.
Yes.
And it's on a world scale.
Yes.
Don't just think that 15-mile radius between you and the nightclubs in your area is all it can be. It doesn't matter what your look is either. You have room to fit.
Totally agree.
I was just talking to a gentleman backstage. He's like, "Oh, I'm former Israeli, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Don't tell people that."
Yeah.
And he looked at me crazy. I was like, think about it. In this time and age, do you think people want to know that you are former Israeli anything?
Yeah, of course. No, of course. Political, right?
And I'm not saying that you should be ashamed of anything that you've done in your past. Your life is your life. But if you want to operate without having people using things against you before you could even do the job,
Totally agree.
You got to take it out.
Totally agree. I think you know about this. So, I was actually in Israel in October 7th when the actual terrorist attack happened. So probably 2 buildings down from me got hit with a rocket and all that type of stuff, right? If I was doing executive protection, I was doing a little more than executive protection at that point. But if executive protection happened, do you have the means to get out of the country? Because at that point, nobody can leave the airspace.
No.
Do you have a contingency plan? Do you have a sat phone? Because the cellular phone was not working.
They're going to jam the network.
Exactly, right? Because when I tried to call my wife, nothing was going through. But I had to get on my sat phone to obviously, initiate the contingency plan. But we talking about international operation, you can go from, I'm literally in Tel Aviv. So you can go from chilling on the beach to next level, rocket hits the building falling, gunfire in the street. And
chaos.
Chaos. Do you really know what you're doing at that point? Or are you just a victim with the client?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was in Europe when Iran and America started doing their thing, and we got to go. We're supposed to be going to Dubai, and now we're like, oh no Dubai. Now we can't fly, and now we got to go this way.
Now what? Exactly.
It was a mess. I was happy to be international at the time this was all going down, but at the same time, I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, I got stuck in Puerto Rico because the Venezuela situation.
Exactly.
I was like, yo, Trump is just harassing me right now. He's costing me so much money.
Exactly.
Because the whole air system got shut down.
Yep.
I remember being at the airport and everybody's like, man, what the... And I just so happened to go on TikTok. See, that's why I love TikTok. TikTok will tell you some shit.
I don't know, man.
I jumped into TikTok. Oh, I said, that's why I clicked. All right, we ain't going nowhere. Let me just go. I left the airport. I see people lined up trying to change their flights. I said, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
For sure.
I'm just going right back to where I came from.
And I think, to piggyback what you said, I think when guys get out their local AO, it's so many ways, like you said, so many fruit to pick. They just got to be shown the way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the only non-military, ex-law enforcement, even special operation background person at my job. And I'm the only one, and also the only black person.
You know what's crazy? Like, so as you know, the FIFA is doing a thing in the States right now, right? So I'm not gonna say who, but he reached out to me. He's like, oh, he sends me the information like, oh, this is probably more qualified for you. And I look at the and I'm like, well, why don't you apply? He's like, oh man, they're not gonna take me. I don't have the. I looked at the event. I said, man, please, don't let this thing fool you. What they said, they need more than that.
Exactly.
I said, your experience alone to get you in the door. Just make sure your resume is on point and apply. And about 2 weeks later, man, look, I got it. I said, I told you, fool, they got to take people.
Exactly.
I said, it works out for you, bro. Like, don't cut your head off before you even look out the door.
Totally agree.
Like,
agree.
he was not going to even apply. He's sending it to me like I'm some grandioso.
For sure.
There's no big difference between me and you on paper, brother.
Yes.
Like, just apply.
Yes.
And he got the gig. Same situation with you. Mind you, had you just looked at what they said, and
for sure,
you probably would have never applied.
For sure. But also that go back to networking. A lot of guys network cold. And basically what I mean is they may get somebody's contact information, but then it goes cold. They don't stay connected and they don't stay ready. You know, when we say stay ready, meaning you're constantly growing, constantly getting the credentials, constantly moving forward. So when opportunity comes, you meet the minimum expectation. But unfortunately, with us as minorities, we have to be above the minimum. So we need to really make sure that we're really mapping out, again, our trajectory in the industry. And I think if I never had the opportunity from somebody inside give me a shot to get an interview, me actually killing the interview with having conversational piece when doing the interview, talking about the craft, and then being able to sell myself, I would never be in that room. And I think we have to also make sure that we know that, you know, like we all battle like the imposter syndrome. But if they invite you to the table, you're at the table.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. So you have to really kind of put yourself in position to accept the opportunity. And I think just many people run away from the opportunity instead of just going to it.
How many listen, you said opportunity, right? How many times have we been on the detail, right? Probably at a studio session or a sounds like something industry, and you're looking around, and you're like, how the hell did he get in here? You go approach the person, you're like, yo,
yeah,
he's supposed to be in. He ain't supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
But you looking and he moving around, and you feel bad. You be like, you know what? I'm gonna let him rock because he's milking it. No matter how he got here, he's here.
Yeah.
And he's doing what he's supposed to do. So I'm gonna let him rock out. Like I know that's had to happen to you.
Oh,
sometimes.
for sure.
Like you got to just let people do what they do once they get in the room.
I agree.
They can get in the room.
I agree.
And don't be ashamed to pay attention while even if you don't know what to do while you're in the room, look around.
Yes.
Look around. Don't say nothing stupid. Don't make yourself out there that you don't belong. Just give it a second. Each one teach one.
Exactly.
I saw that you were recently at some speaking engagement. It was what was that? The national.
That's the International Organization of Black Security Executives. So that's a great organization if you're a minority in the business, because it's nothing but us. On like high scale, we're talking about chief security officers of major corporations, and it also spans across all platforms of security, from asset protection to executive protection to cybersecurity to protective intelligence. So it's a great platform to see people that look like you at these high, usually limited opportunities.
Now, how did you? Because I noticed that you do a lot of networking, you do a lot of engagements that my social battery would be overwhelmed with.
Yeah.
But then I also be like, damn, I need to, like I told you, I always take cues from you, even though you're younger than me. You be on a wave of I'll call it a wave of opportunity. I will say you always put yourself in the right positions, and I'd be like, damn, I gotta catch up to Mike on that one, or I'm slipping on that. Mike's, you know what, maybe I need to go do more events like this. So the question would be, how do you find out about these things? Like, what component are you using? Because I know you'd be busy.
Yeah.
So you're a family man, you're a godly man, you got your goddaughter, you got your wife. I think y'all got a baby on the way?
Yeah, no. We actually had a baby. She's premature, so she's like technically 2 months, but she's on like 40 weeks.
Okay, yeah. So y'all got you always got stuff going on. And you know me, I'd be running with my head cut off.
For sure.
But I've always felt like I believe in organized chaos. Yours is like it's all planned out. Like,
for sure.
It's like I feel like a day doesn't go by where you already don't know what you got going on.
For sure.
And then there's me. I'm Crash Bandicoot with it, and I'm always like, okay, I got to do better. Mike is clean this up. There's a way to do it this way. Because a lot of times in our community when we see success, we call a person corny.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't do that with you because number one, I don't think success is corny. I think it's a great thing. We're grown ass men, right?
For sure.
But then I also know that we have a sector of our guys who like the hood stuff, who like walk around with the hoodies and all that other stuff. And then we got guys who like putting a suit on, and we got guys who can do both and mesh with it.
Yep.
So when I say I'm always watching you, I always told you I don't come from a place of envy. I be cheering you on because
for sure.
I know if you pushing. It's like the sled mentality with the dogs. There's always one in the front, and no matter what's going on, he's pushing.
Yep.
And it's not that the rest of the guys aren't capable of pushing too, because they're all pushing. It's just somebody has to have a mentality to knock their head against the wall and not care.
For sure.
Right? And it doesn't happen in every moment. There's certain things in this business that I can be the leader of the sled, and then I look to my left and I see you pulling the sled, and I'm like, yo, I wouldn't be able to pull that one the way he does. Let me fall in the line and figure it out. So that's why I say it's not a place of envy. It's an admiration and respect. Like, okay, all right, that's how he moving. I'm over here, but let me learn something while he's on. He's already shown me the way. Yeah. Why not just follow it? You get what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's how I see it. But we have this these chips on our shoulders with these alphas, like, oh no, that's corny. Nah, like suits and speaking engagements, that's whack, man. I'd rather be on the stage taking pictures.
Exactly.
And that's cool too, but like, there's ways to make this easy.
Exactly. I think that to answer your first point was I just have conversation, right, with guys that's on my level or lower to my level. Oh, okay, you're part of this organization, or what are you doing to separate yourself? And I'm always taking notes. I'm like a white belt, martial artist, right? I'm always learning from somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't care where I could be the grand sensei, but he may be doing something that I don't know about, and that's how I found out about the organization.
Okay.
I was actually talking to one of my mentees, and he was a part of it. I'm like, oh, let me look it up. Oh, this something I can maybe add value to. And then I got into it, learned a lot, and it gave me opportunity, right? So just networking and constantly asking questions. And I think even too, like Opaque is my second company. My first company, BV Security, didn't make $1. It failed. I started that company in 2020. Because I was with a client, so I learned like, wow, when I want a client, if I'm dedicating 100% time with a client, I can't build a business,
it's
right?
hard.
It's hard, right? Because now I'm getting calls, but I don't have any guys.
See, the thing is, you need a team.
Yes.
And that's why it drives me nuts when guys be like, oh, I got it out the mud. I did this on my own.
Yes.
Ain't nobody put me on.
It's limited.
You're lying.
Yes.
You're lying to yourself. And that tells me you're going to limit yourself because you're scared to have people around you to push you forward.
For sure.
You're scared to have teammates.
For sure.
That's why I like former athletes, because they're used to having teammates.
The team
For
mindset.
better or worse. Like, I'm cool with a couple of my teammates, and there's a couple of them niggas, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? But you have to learn how to operate with people you don't like and do like.
For sure.
And we did some good things. It's the same thing in this business. There's operators that I'm cool with, and then there's some guys I really don't like, and there's some guys I can't stand, and there's some guys I got beef with, and when I see you, I see you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's understandable.
But I know how to maintain it and not let it mess up the money.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Regardless of where my ego is in that moment, I will keep it back as long as the business gets handled.
Totally agree.
But when I see you, I see you.
But also, you're going to have some failures. If I would have stopped with BV Security thinking, oh, the business failed, I would not made Opaque. Now Opaque, going on year 3, we are a gross company at $1.5 million. So yeah, that's not a lot of money, but I'm now.
No, don't you say that, my fling. 1.5. Year 3 is an extraordinary number.
For sure.
Especially coming from, I'm not gonna say nothing, but ground zero.
For sure. No, for sure. But I know it's more to this, right? Because a lot of guys get stuck on a number and they think, oh, like $1 million gross is something. Once you make $1 million, you realize you're not rich.
And not just that, you realize how much you're paying taxes.
Exactly,
and how much goes out the door.
That part. And then also, too, advice I like to give guys, don't have that one businessman mindset, what I call a solo operator, like a truck. Yeah, you're a truck driver, you're on the truck, but it's you driving the truck. So how far can you get from a financial standpoint if you're the owner operator?
And nowhere when the truck stops.
Exactly, right? So even building out a team, right? So like basically this year and last year I focused on scaling. So we just got office space. So I could put employees there. So I can have training courses. So I can facilitate a work environment of, oh, this is not at my home, it's not a home business. A lot of guys don't know how to transition from a home business to a corporation. They just stay, oh man, I don't want the overhead. The overhead keeps you accountable. Because now, if I don't make a certain amount of dollars, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Office spacing can be expensive too. But
for sure.
But you found the luxury. You bounced between Illinois and Indiana.
Yep.
And I got something for you in Indiana.
Please, make that happen.
I need 10 guards.
That's too easy.
Yeah.
Make that happen.
So we'll talk about that. I think I might need some in Chicago too. I'm not sure.
That's too easy.
I'd be happy. But then I also know that, like, you be exposing the hell out of me too. Like, a lot of y'all don't realize that y'all expose a lot of my flaws. And it makes me have to catch myself.
That's iron sharpen iron.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And I don't get upset about it, but sometimes it hurts. I be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like when I saw you post that course, I said, fuck, Mike, we just talked about this shit. And it was clean. I said, oh, Marlene's going to kick my ass. Because, like, she's been bugging me and I've been pushing it to the side.
You have a market here.
Yeah, but I'm very big on timing, right? And I know it's the devil's word.
Yeah, right? Perfection.
Yeah.
No such thing.
It's just the hardest part is starting.
That's it.
Damn, I hate
That's
that.
it.
The hardest part is starting.
That's it.
Because sometimes it's cool to be lazy. It feels good.
It feels good to be content.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold you. Because you know what? There's no fear in it.
I agree.
There's no risk. There's no fear.
No loss.
It's we have this high-driven job in what we do, and we're always on edge. And then sometimes I find these moments where I can like just hide.
Yeah.
Just a little pocket of air. I hide, and I don't have to be in my head or stressing or worried about this person. And then that moment turns into an hour.
Yeah.
Then it turns to an hour and a half. Then it turns into 2. And then I look at the clock. I'm like, oh, it's 2 o'clock. All right, about 3 o'clock, I'll do it. And then 3:30, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, all right,
missed my window.
I done fucked up the church's money.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I catch myself, and then I'll do something stupid like go online and doom scroll.
Yeah.
Then I'll come across your shit, and you over there with your suit on speaking. I'm like, fuck. All right, bitch, put the phone down.
Sure.
Let me go do some shit. Like, that's what I mean by exposed. Like, I'll be like, all right.
Yeah.
He I know Mike ain't bullshit. Let me get my ass up.
So it's funny you said that. So 2 things is, one, like you said, I'm consciously thinking at 36, Michael's not going to be working at 40.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm positioning myself to be the subject matter expert, speaking, engagement, writing articles, writing books. We all can do it, but we just don't start.
Yeah.
That's what makes a subject matter expert. You literally are cultivating and capturing your knowledge on paper. So now people can say, what has this guy done? Now they can go look at the research.
You know what's crazy? Another thing that I realized we do to each other is so like, let's say you post I got my death row knowledge, and then you'll be in the gym, you post your wisdom.
Yeah.
If I see that you post your wisdom, I'll wait.
So let the moment live.
I'll let yours breathe, and I'll wait. I'll be like, all right, I don't want to step on this, nor do I want somebody who's following me and following him to be like, oh, they compete with each other, or something.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
And I do the same thing with Elijah. When Elijah drops some dope shit, I'll just make sure instead of me saying, I'll repost it.
Yep.
And then I'll let it breathe,
Yep.
because I don't want to step on what my brother's got going on, because I know that there's enough space. But then at the same time, I'd be like, damn, but they motivated me too, and I want people to piggyback off like we can all do it. But it's like a catch-22.
Well, the problem is, I mean, you're a very rare breed. A lot of people, unfortunately, we still, from integrated slavery, still got the crab in a barrel mindset.
Oh my God,
dude. That's a whole nother thing, to talk about.
Dude, and in the, me, I don't like to bite my tongue, and I be wanting to say some stuff. But as we get more mature, I be like, let me not say it, because I don't want it to look like we separate each other. Like we got to knock each other down to get a word out. And then I also know, like, I can't approach this person because they going to cry.
Yeah. I was going to say something for sure.
So it's like, damn.
We can't take criticism. That's the problem, right?
They're going to cry because I've already seen that they've beefed with everybody. Because somebody had a different look, but so now you got to let this person breathe in the ecosystem.
Exactly,
and that's why I'm always reposting the unit.
Yeah,
you
for
know
sure.
What I'm talking about.
Yep.
I want you to look in the camera. Tell them one book they should be reading right now.
One book you should be reading right now. Non-security or security related?
Whatever gets to mind. Right?
You should read this book called Die with Zero. It would change your life perspective. You'll stop thinking of things as a bucket list and more of capturing the moment, because our time is limited. So you want to literally end with zero.
Yeah, I mean, I need to read that book, because I be, I've slacked off on a few things. I've letting the being busy with work
for sure
be the excuse of why other things are lacking, and I gotta get on point with that. But my man Mike came down here.
Hold on, one more thing. I just want to say this one point. You mentioned somebody bring you to the table. Many people are too mentored out. Meaning they got 50 mentors. That's great. They just guiding you. But who do you have as a sponsor? A sponsor brings you to the table.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have to make sure that you have a balance of both. A lot of guys have 50 mentors. That's great.
But the question is, what is a mentor? Is a mentor just somebody you looking up to, or is a mentor somebody who's guiding you and pushing back life into you?
I think it's that, right? A lot of guys just think they just looking up to somebody.
And it's cool if you're just following somebody's playbook because they're teaching you things. I don't want you to feel like they owe you something because you follow their playbook.
Totally agree.
Like, don't look at your mentor and be like, well, how come you never called me for this or called me for that?
It's not my job.
It's not only is that not my job, but that might not be something you're ready for.
And I know that.
Or something I could see you in. You get what I'm saying? We got a mutual friend or colleague who always cries, Corey. I'm talking about your bitch ass. Anytime you post or show love, oh man, why you ain't calling me, bro? Like, come on, it ain't for you. The moment wasn't for you; it was for somebody else, and your time will come. So I saw him the other day. He was working. I said, yeah, you always crying when you see somebody else working, but when you got something, you ain't saying a peep. You don't even tell nobody you on the road.
Yeah, I just think we got to think about, especially minorities in the business, because they don't respect us in the room. And it's because of our behavior. We can't blame them.
Yeah.
Half the time when I look at us, like some guys see me their resume, you're wondering why, you calling it racism and stuff. I'm like, you're not qualified. I'm looking at the resume. It's just simply you're not qualified. It's not that they didn't let you in the room. You shouldn't even be at the door, unfortunately.
And that's why I let them know.
Exactly, but that's our job to do that, but we're not doing that. And then also, too, we don't understand how we all act in our own spaces is the depiction of all of us. They're going to put us all in the same bucket.
Yep.
That's what we need to keep each one of us accountable. If this person's crying, this person's complaining, okay, they all going to be like that. If this person suing over dumb stuff, they're going to assume we all going to do the same thing. We got to make sure we all lift each other up, or we going to still be just chasing a rabbit. So
May or June, we're going to do another course. Where can I get more information on the course?
For sure. You can get the more information on my Instagram, Vagabond Protector, and also our Instagram page, Opaque International Group. And then also at our website, www.opaqueinternationalgroup.com. We'll have our training courses on there, and I'm sure you're going to repost it. Most people are going to repost it. And and then in July, we're going to have our first 3-day in-person course where, it's for people that just want to come on out and just want to learn something, learn the basics, understand, the foundation of EP without breaking the bank.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be expensive.
Now, all this information will be tagged on the YouTube channel, as well as it'll appear up under his name when he just said all that stuff. So you'll be able to click the link and get all the information you need. I want to thank my guest, Big Mike.
Appreciate you.
That's your new name, not Big Mike. They got to call him Big Mike when they see him. You see it on his arm. I appreciate you, my brother.
Always, brother. Thank you.
For real. I highly suggest, even if you don't ask him any questions, just watch his page. Watch how he moves. Watch the dedication he has to his craft. Watch how he balances his home life and his family life with work. He's 36. 36, and he's circled a lot of us. And if you're not paying attention and using that as inspiration, then don't tell me you want to do this. So when I say together, ape strong, this is called together. When you see somebody, even if they're younger than you and they're doing more than you, or in your mind they're doing more than you cheer them on, and then you see what you can learn from them and sit at the table and have conversations and grow together. Because together, ape strong, we can go as far as we want to go. So another episode of Silverback Syndicate. I thank you again. Mike, I appreciate you, brother. Chi-Town legend. Young Chi-Town legend. It's out.